Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and today we are going to be quilting the Safari quilt because it's January, it's the month of Safari, it's Safari everything, because I leave in 4 days to go on safari. I'm so excited, so we're doing some safari things. I have these cute little elephants cut out. These I use with my QUILT. This is the die to try from January 2024, in case that's not when you're watching this. So I'm going to just blanket stitch around these, and we're taking these with us. They're going to travel the world with us, and we're going to take pictures as we do our travels on safari. I made this Safari quilt. So we're going to quilt this out. Pro Stitcher Patterns just came out with a new Safari set. We're going to be using that in this quilt. I'm not going to use it on this outside row. I really want to, but I really want to show you this trick that I like to do with flying geese. So we're going to do that today. So this does have two borders on it. So we're going to do this flying geese border. We're going to do this. We're going to talk about the Safari set next week. I'll show it to you today. What I really like, it's very like mix and matchy. So like if you have Pro Stitcher, if you're a Pro Stitcher user, you know, you have the truck, the fire truck, and the dump truck, and the cement truck, and the helicopter, and all of those designs can be mixed and matched. Well, that is exactly how the Safari set is. So you have all of these different designs that you can mix and match into a free motion, or not a free motion, an edge-to-edge design, and then they just have an edge-to-edge design for you. And then when we get to the center, this is a panel quilt, so it's a big jaguar. I'll put a picture of the quilt here, I think. We'll insert it here if I have one. I don't even know if I have one. But when we get to the center, you're really going to want to watch. So this is going to be like a 3-week video, because today we're going to do the outside border. The next week we're going to do the next border. Next week we'll do the interior. We'll do free motion and something else. It's a surprise. Maybe a 4-week video, because then I'll turn it and I'll show you how you do those side borders with the top border. Even though I have the border series, because this has two borders, when I turn it, I'm just going to do them both at the same time. So I'm just going to do the top, I'm going to do the next one down, do my center, I'll stitch the ditch in my borders. I'm a ditch stitcher. We'll talk about how I'm working with borders and doing all that stuff. So it should be fun. Got a lot of different pieces to it. There's a wacky brain how mine works, but it's going to give you a little bit of insight on things that you can do with your own quilts, because you don't always have to do an edge to edge. You can switch it up. You can use different pieces from different collections. Do whatever you want. It's your quilt. Remember, at the end of the day, it's just a quilt. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified when those new videos drop, especially since there's going to be a lot of videos on this. Also, go follow me on social media, Adam So Fun with an SEW on Facebook and Instagram, where you see a lot of things that don't actually make it to the YouTube channel. So you would have seen pictures of this already. I've shown the video, or shown the quilt off in some lives and such. If you don't catch my lives, I try to do them Tuesdays at 1 Pacific. So I'm going to bring you up here. We're going to talk about this first border. I'm going to show you how I'm going to quilt it. Today I'm using my favorite threads, Superior Threads. Remember, when you're shopping Superior Threads, you can use my affiliate code ASF10, and that will save you 10% off your purchase. I will link the threads I'm using below. In my bobbin, I'm using Bottom Line. It's a 60 weight poly, one of my favorite bobbin threads. Up top, I'm using King Tut. I wanted something variegated. I had something that was going to work, and this is number 920, and it is called Sands of Time. So we're going to bring you over here. We're going to get started. Alright, so here we are. Quilt is loaded. Everything's good. I've already stitched my ditches, so I'm going to stitch ditches around the flying geese. I've already stitched this ditch between this border. I'm not stitching here because I'm going to treat this as its own border. So I'm going to put, like, basically both pieces are going to be together, and I'm going to stitch something all the way across that. So that's perfect, good, great, love it. So what I want to do is I want to stitch, so how these flying geese, because these flying geese are only going to be here on the left side and across the top, and how the left side continues up, what I want is I want this set of geese to continue all the way across to the edge of the quilt. Then the next set, when I get to the side, we'll start right here and stitch down, so it'll look very much like this intersection where one's going all the way out and the next one's just going to the right. So this is going to make it really easy because I just need the geese to stitch all the way across. So I'm going to do this all with Pro Stitcher. You could mark it out. I believe these geese are 3x6. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure I used the QUILT to cut this out. So it's going to make it really easy for me to create this flying geese design. But I also want to create it being able to stitch it as an edge to edge. Because then I can just start here, create an area all the way to my other edge, and be done, and everything's going to be perfect, and I just have to hit go. So we're going to be using Mark, the Mark feature under Pro Stitcher Record, and I'm going to be using my grid so that my geese are perfect. So I'm going to bring you over to my screen so you can see what's going on. All right, so my first step is I want to actually make sure this is 6 inches tall. I'm pretty sure I'm cutting out my seam allowance. I'm putting the back of the foot at the edge of my fabric. I'm not taking my needle to the edge of the fabric because I'm taking off that 1/4 inch, and I'm going to go. So I'm going to end up coming here, and I'm going to come to here. I'm not going to show you back whenever I come, but when I get to this point, I'm going to put the laser light right on there because these are finished 3x6. So here's my screen. My first thing I want to do is I'm going to use the measure function. I don't know if you've ever used the measure function. It's over here in my quick access tools because I never took it off. And I'm going to hit measure, and I'm going to hit bottom house refresh so we can see. And when you hit measure, it turns green. If you need to measure, it is under the Pro Stitcher tab usually. And here are my icons, or it gives you this icon in the center. And right now it's 0, 0 because I haven't moved. How measure works, you hit it where you want to start. So put your needle where you want to start, hit measure, turn it on. And now when you move, do you see how that number is changing? Can you even see that? I can't tell if you can see it, but I'm going to move you back. And I'm going to move the machine where it needs to go, and then I'll just zoom in. And will this be perfect? Probably not, but it's going to be perfect enough. So if you look right here, it's 5.90, and I think it's supposed to be 6, which is not really that much farther. It's like 2 stitches. So this is haven't changed my screen. All I did was zoom in. So that is measure. So these are going to be 3x6 flying geese, and that's what I needed to know. So now I'm going to turn measure off because we're not using it anymore. I want to turn on my grid. Again, I have my grid in my quick access tools. If you don't have grid over here, you can go into your view tab. Now, I always tell people stay out of your view tab because you're going to turn something off on accident. But if I go into my view tab, up at the top, here's my grid button. I can turn that on. That will give me my grid. I never do it there because I have it right here. I can just simply toggle it on and off right here in my quick access tools. Now the grid is 1 inch. Everything's 1 inch. So I'm going to zoom this out because I want to go 6 inches by, let's see, the geese is going to be 6x3. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to find an intersection. So there's my intersection, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to my Pro Stitcher tab, record in the ribbon, and on my sidebar, I'm going to use the mark button. Before I hit that though, there's this snap to grid. What snap to grid is going to do, even though my crosshairs are not right on that intersection, it's going to stick it in that intersection for me. So I'm going to hit mark, or I'm going to hit snap to grid. I'm going to turn that on, and then I'm going to hit mark. And you'll see that the start point is not necessarily right where my crosshairs are. It put it at the intersection closest to my crosshairs, so that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to end up making this flying geese, flying geese block, the triangle. I'm going to make it twice because I want to show you how I'm going to make it, and then we're going to talk about that quilting path. So I'm going to move my machine, so I need to move it up, and I need to go 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to hit mark. And now, if it's 6 inches tall, it's 3 inches wide, whatever that is. So I'm going to go over 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to come down 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to hit mark. And then I'm just going to come back to my intersection and hit mark. And We'll just baseline that for fun, and I'll turn my grid off. There's my flying geese block. That's my diamond. Flying geese are just diamond. I love them. I guess flying geese are just diamonds. I love them. I love flying geese. If I look at this, the start and stop points are going to be down here. I do not want that because I could never repeat this. If I went to repeats and I started adding repeats, we're going to have jumps because that doesn't work. That's not how repeats work. We need the start and the stop on the same plane, which they are, but one has to be on the left side of the design and one has to be on the right side of the design. So I'm going to just take out those repeats because I don't need those. We'll leave this here because that is actually good to be able to see. I'm going to turn my grid back on, and basically what I need to happen is I need a start point here and an end point there. So we're going to get overstitching on this. It's the nature of a flying geese. You always do. You just have to decide where you want to overstitch. So what I'm going to do is I've already baselined that. I want to see my workspace. I think it'll be fine because I baselined it. So we're going to baseline it one more time just to be good. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to start. And my snap to grid, everything's on, so I'm going to hit mark. Now when I make this, what I think I might do is I'm going to stitch down. I'm going to have it stitch down, go all the way up, over to my point, down, and come back to the point. So it's going to overstitch this downside. It has to overstitch one place. It's just the nature. It has to do it. So that's where I'm going to do it. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to hit mark. And then I'm going to go all the way up, and I'm going to hit mark. And then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to hit mark. I'm going to come down to my bottom point. I'm going to hit mark. And I'm going to come back to this point, and I'm going to hit mark. Now, if I turn off my grid, we have another design. Let's baseline that one. There we go. And we should have two. Yes, we have a repeat freehand. We have a repeat freehand and a freehand. So there's one. We're going to put that one over here because that was the first one we made. Here we go. So this is the first one we made. Start and stops at the bottom. Can we see that? Okay. Yeah. Go right there. First one we made. Start and stops at the bottom. Perfect. It would work if we wanted a block. We could spin it. We can have this be the start and stop. We can have it spinning in a circle. You could do some stuff with that. Not what we want in this application. Now, if I look at this one, now we have the start on the left, stop on the right. I'm going to get rid of this one because we're not going to use it. So I'm just going to hit close selected. And now watch when I repeat it. Modify repeat. I'll add my repeats. Start on the left, stop on the right, no jumps. So I've just created a design in ProStitcher. I didn't have to use ProStitcher Designer. You definitely could, but I made something in ProStitcher that can be repeated very easily. I'm going to take those designs or those repeats away because before I start doing anything with this, I want to save it. File, save, selected. Why is it saving in that area? It was doing this the other day. I'm just going to have to file, save, selected. It's saving an area. I can tell that it's saving an area because it's purple. Maybe this is a glitch. I don't know. We're just going to save it as an area, and this area is going to be called Safari Goose. Save. Just so I have it. I'm definitely going to be using this again for this quilt. I need it for all four sides. So now I have that design and I don't have to recreate it. Not that it takes you a long time. When you know what you're doing, you can do it in a minute. So now I have my design. So next step, let's look at our quilt top. Or just this border. This video is going to be so fast if I can just stop talking, right? So now I want to start right here, basically at this seam, and I want to stitch all the way to the right. The nice thing is we're going to be able to fit this in. It should fit perfect. I don't know how many will fit perfect, but they should fit perfect. And then we'll be able to skew it. So if this seam isn't perfect, skew will fit it in there exactly perfect like it should be. So we're gonna create an area. I'm going to my area tab. Y'all know where your area tab is. It's File, Edit, Area. It's the area tab. I'm gonna come down to this point, and I can't see because the lights are off. Let's see. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna turn my lights on so I can see. It was hitting thread. Okay, there we are. And I'm gonna hit multi-point. I have the infinity. Oh, there. Oh yeah, you can see that point. Perfect. I have the infinity, so I'm just gonna hit my diamond button, because when you're in, if you have an Forte and a Mara, for any of you who have the diamond and star, anytime you see this, this will take place of the button on the screen. So if you were just using mark and you have, let's say, an Amara and you have mark and record, the mark and record buttons, you can't see them. The mark and record buttons also have these. So when you're in that screen, your handlebar buttons get overridden to those functions. So I'm going to be hitting, this is a diamond, diamond's on my right handlebar, so I'm going to be hitting my diamond to ding around this. So here's my first point. Ding. Now I'm going to move up to the top. I'm creating it. I'm keeping it a 1/4 inch from the back. There we are. Ding. Alright, so I've dinged the back one, and now I'm just going to come along, make sure everything's looking nice and straight, and I like to ding multiple times. If something's off a little bit, I can move my machine a little bit. I don't have channel locks on, but my gears are engaged, so it's going to keep it running pretty straight for me. I'm going to give you this angle. Ooh, that's better. It'll keep everything running pretty nice and straight. So when I get to this edge, I'm not going all the way. I'm lining the edge of my foot up with my fabric, just like I've been doing everything else. But here's the tricky part. When I get to this point, I need this point and the point that I line up over here to be perfect. I need them to be straight. That straight line is going to be really important, especially whenever I come to that bottom edge. So I want to make sure it's nice and straight. So what I'm going to do is, because I've done all across, I dinged up here, I'm going to come to this intersection, and I have to turn on the light because I can't see. There we are. I'll turn it on and turn it off. How about that? I'm not going to hit multi-point. I'm not going to hit a ding. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on one of my channel locks, my horizontal channel lock. I want to be able to go right and left. I'm going to move my machine to the right. It's holding it nice, straight, perfect. When I get lined up with the edge of my fabric over here, I can ding. I'll come right back to that point, and I can ding, and now I'll take my channel lock off, because I'm going to follow this seam, and if I have to, I'm going to shift my machine a little bit to make sure everything works. Again, I've turned my lights back on. And you're going to hear me ding every inch or so, just in case. I mean, you can't ding too many times. It's not going to hurt anything. So now, when we look at the screen, let me bring you back over here. Now, when we look at the screen, we have a goose that we made, and we have our area. Now, what I want to do is see how many repeats we need. Remember, we can skew this, we can make it fit. So I'm going to go to my Modify tab, and I'm going to go to Align. And Align is going to tell Pro Stitcher, hey, there's an area here. I want you to put this somewhere. So I'm telling Pro Stitcher to line up the left side of my design with the left side of my box. And right here at horizontal left, I'm going to hit horizontal left. So now this is perfectly lined up over there. I'm going to my Repeat tab, and this is just so I can see how many repeats I need, and I'm just going to repeat them. Obviously, we're real straight. Okay, so we have an issue. And if you look at this, the issue is, I for sure thought that this was probably made so those flying geese would fit. It's actually not. I just measured it. So if you look at this, you'll see that I'm either going to have a gap or we're going to have to shrink these really small. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I for sure thought that I know 2 will fit here because it's the border. So this is a 6-inch border, 3 and 3. 2 of them will fit here perfect. I for sure thought this would be divisible by 3. And I got my handy dandy measuring tape out whenever I realized it wasn't. And it's 28 and 3/8. So my next question is, do I want to make my flying geese a little bigger or a little smaller? Again, it's going to be an optical illusion. Nobody's ever going to know except for us. You're all going to know because I just told you. We have 2 options. So I'm going to go to modify. This is so funny. I don't know why I thought that it would fit. In my head, it was definitely going to fit. I'm going to repeat, and I'm going to hit stretch. And stretch, although we're already outside, stretch will shrink it. It's kind of like a skew from left to right. And then vertical, we also want to stretch. So that's going to fit it in there. That doesn't look half bad, but it's going to shrink them quite a bit. So if I hit undo twice, because look how far it's sticking out. So if I zoom into this, I could either stretch everything and have all of those come out just a little tiny bit, or I have this extra, that I have to shrink back in. So I'm going to take a 1, or I want you to see the difference. So let's see, I'm going to go back to stretch and stretch. So this is what it looks like with 1 extra. If I go to horizontal and I hit minus, this is what it looks like with shrinking that distance between 3, 6, 9, 11. So I think shrinking 1.5 inches or distributing 1.5 inches for 11 pieces is better than distributing, if that's 1.5 inches, 2 inches, pushing it, distributing that 2 inches. So I'm going to leave it like this. I think this is going to be a better plan for me. I like how it looks. After repeats, we always baseline. And now it's going to be as easy as stitching it out. I will run this and let you watch. And we'll see you back here in a second. I need my scissors. I'll turn the lights off for you so you can see. Pro Stitcher, quilt, settings good. Run. Enjoy the music. Alright, so there you have it. Now my flying geese border is done. I can advance, start on my next one. It is so easy. This is such an easy application to create a flying geese. And now that I have this flying geese created, I'm going to use it throughout the rest of my quilt. But also I have a base goose that I can use anywhere. I could resize this to anything. I can skew it into anything. But I have this that can be repeated anywhere. So we will see you back here in a second. Alright, so that was today's video. Basically, we went in, we digitized a design, we digitized an edge-to-edge design, and we stitched it out in the border. I love doing borders this way because there's no thinking involved. You have your design, and basically this is almost like a cornerstone. This one's just going to happen to be like every row just shoots off the edge. You could do this with any borders. Just have one design start where the border ends and shoots off the edge, and then the next one starts where that one ends and Does that make sense? You're not using starting in the corner, you're shifting it over a little bit. But it's just a really great border application when you don't want to think and you just want to do something easy. So I am going to go off. I'm going to do the next one, and we'll see you in a week where we do the next border. I'm not going to do any of my other border. Well, I'm going to do that next border next, and then I'll do the interior, and then I'll do the bottom borders whenever I get there. I often get people ask what my sequence is whenever I'm stitching and, you know, basting and things. So I usually will do everything that fits in a row and then advance, and then everything that fits in the next row and advance, and go on as I go. When I have borders like this, I will stitch the ditch on those flying geese on the left. There's no flying geese on the right, so I'm going to stitch the ditch between the two borders, and then the next border between the border and the panel. You'll see that in next week's video. And I'll add each layer as I go, and then once I get to the bottom, I'll put those final two borders in, and the quilt's almost done. I just have to turn it, reload it, and do my side borders. And I'll do those all at once. The camera went dead right in the middle of me filming, and I didn't realize it. So once I turn it, I'll do those final borders. I'll do it all at once, so it's going to go really quick. This quilt, because it's a panel quilt, pieced really quick. It's going to quilt up really quick. This is going to be one of my go-tos for baby quilts, just because the whole process is super fast, and I love flying geese. I hope you learned something about Mark and about kind of creating your own designs. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. And follow me on social media, Adam So Fun with an S-E-W on Facebook and Instagram, where you see things that don't hit the channel just because making videos takes a long time. We will see you in the next one. It is 2024. I'm always saying at the end of the day, it's just quilting. We want to have fun. We want to have a good time. So get out there and have a good time. I'm saying 2024 is the year of lifting each other up, being positive, being kind, and most importantly, being kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up about stuff, because it is just a quilt. See you in the next one. Love you. Mwah.